Hey guys, and welcome back to the Ground Up Show. I'm your host, Matt Diavella, and today we finally tapped into the whole van life movement. It wasn't that long ago that living in a van would be the actions of somebody either desperate or insane. But today we have thousands of people all over the world who are intentionally giving up their homes and their apartments to live on four wheels. It's very interesting and a bit strange, but also very inspiring. My guests today, Aubry and Christian, who go by the names Minimal Millennials online, were two of the first at the very beginning of this movement. On the podcast, we talk about a lot, including why they decided to get into the minimalist van lifestyle, how to maintain your routine while on the road, how to go to the gym, where do they shower, all those fun details, as well as what the financials look like living out of a van. Do they save more money than if they were to live in an apartment? Very interesting stuff, and I'm really excited to share that with you. But first, if you have been following this podcast for a little while now, you know that I do not do advertising or sponsorships. The way that I am able to do this podcast is through Patreon subscribers, people like you who are willing to give a couple bucks a month, as little as $1 an episode, to make this show possible. It ensures that the podcast is independent. I can talk about any brands, companies that I want without the fear of losing my sponsorships, without the fear of losing the way that I make money on this podcast. It allows me a whole lot of freedom. And it also means that you don't have to get bored and inundated with these bullshit ads for mattresses and underwear and everything that you already have. I'm not trying to sell you on stuff that you don't need so then you can feel fulfilled. I believe that most of you, if you have access to this show and you're able to watch it, many of us have enough to be happy and content. But right now, I don't have enough Patreon subscribers to keep this going. I haven't yet reached my first goal, which would allow me to continue to do this podcast advertisement free. So I'm looking for you guys to help keep this thing going. So if you head over to patreon.com/MattDiavella, you can contribute $1 an episode to keep it ad free, or you can contribute even more and get access to exclusive content behind the scenes of this podcast, how I make these videos. If you're a filmmaker or a creative, really helpful and valuable advice on how to build something from the ground up. I also do a lot of fun vlogs and travel videos to show you more of an intimate look at my personal life and how I apply minimalism on a practical level. I cannot believe that I was able to do all that without any edits or jump cuts. That's amazing. Without further ado, I'd love to get into this podcast. Aubry and Christian were so much fun to talk to. I think you're really going to like this episode. Enjoy.
This is a whole new experience, by the way.
Is it you mean the headphone
the
experience?
Headphone experience.
How does it feel?
It feels intimate.
It feels like we're playing radio, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, true.
That's kind of the part, that's what I like about it. But
no, I love it. It's just I want to get real up close and talk in an intimate way, you know?
yeah, it's gonna get real weird in here.
Christian wants to get into ASMR, I think.
Oh, so. The ASMR?
Yeah.
I just cut your mic, so now you can't talk. Sorry, bud. I was trying to figure out who is who, so then I know if somebody starts screaming whose mic to turn down. The ASMR thing. It's a weird thing.
It's
weird
super
thing.
weird.
Yeah. That's our Patreon, you know.
That's so good.
Just to hear me slurp coffee.
Yeah. It's weird. Does that like have effect on you guys listening to the ASMR?
I hate it.
You don't get like the tinglies?
Yeah.
I get the bad tinglies.
Yeah. Oh, the bad tinglies?
Yeah,
it's like having a bad trip.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Feels like ants crawling on me.
Oh my God. I don't know. I kind of like it. Yeah. This is my confession. This is like when everything tips for me and people stop unfollowing because they're like, Matt likes ASMR. I didn't know he was into that shit.
I didn't know he was a kinky guy.
It's so weird though. It's hard to get past the fact that there's just somebody next to a mic. Like
it's true.
like with a cup or like blowing into this is gonna
I can't
like interview over, bro.
It makes my like tingles up my spine.
Yeah.
Man.
Welcome to the podcast. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Matt.
How has your California trip been so far?
It's been insane.
Yeah.
We've met so many people, and it's been so great. Just like this is the first time we've been here as creators. I grew up here and everything, but it's like a whole new experience when you get to collaborate and create with people. It's been super fun.
I kind of hate LA until this trip. Like to me, LA, it has this reputation of being all about posturing and about, how everybody looks and everything. But coming here as a creator is a totally different experience because I feel like being here as a creator, you realize more is going on here than kind of the rest of the country combined. And for us, we're always just struggling to find people who inspire us to connect with. And here we're just like swimming in them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think that is definitely one of the things that drew me to either LA or New York or a big city, doing what we do, like making content, videos, podcasts, whatever, collaborating with people. It's so important to have collaborators, to have people that you can work with and partner with and help each other grow.
And just inspire you, right? Like I feel like we're so full of energy with our content right now because this is our end of our third week here. And you're like the fifth creator that we look up to that we're getting to hang out with, and it's just like a fire, man. It just feels it.
That's great though. I mean, it's great that you guys at least took advantage of the time while you're here. You're like, let's just pack it in.
Honestly.
Let's make a bunch of stuff.
It's a work trip, baby.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's always work though, isn't it? All right,
we're sitting at your kitchen table right now.
We are.
You don't have a life outside of your work.
There it's not much, no. But there is. All right, so there's a lot that I want to talk about.
Okay.
You got the van stuff, the minimalism, living together, traveling all over the place, working together. A lot to cover. Where do you guys want to start? Where should we begin?
Who are we?
Who are you?
No, I think the obviously, we're a couple here.
Yeah.
And I think the way it went for us was we worked together. We got to know that dynamic. We traveled together all the time. That led us to minimalism. That led us to the van.
Got it. That's it. That's the podcast.
There we go.
It, baby.
That's all you need to know.
So find yourself a good partner in your own business, baby.
That's amazing. I mean, it's hard to find a good partner, period. Like somebody that you can actually live with and love and all that stuff and that like balances your own personality. But then to be able to find somebody that you can actually work with in a professional type way. That must have been a little like, how did that first start? Was that kind of challenging in the beginning?
Yeah, because we didn't start out working together. Like we started out just dating, and then we started working on some projects. We were working at the same company for a while, and then we started working on YouTube together. And so, yeah,
it was
I don't know.
brutal at first, man.
It was really hard.
It was just a brawl all the time. It was a slugfest. Yeah,
because we're both really creative and both really driven, and so we'd have, I'd have an idea, and he would think that it was dumb, and I would get my feelings hurt.
Yeah.
And, like all of those dynamics, we had to figure out how do we still love each other and like value the relationship and
what are our roles too,
exactly.
right? Because like before we were together, I would have considered myself very entrepreneurial and like very ideas person, and you would have considered yourself very driven, right? Which both are true. But then once we came together, we realized that like I have ideas, but I'm really the person who like can be a good critic and put the wheels behind something. And she's really driven, but she's really the person that's just like brilliant with new ideas. Like she comes up with stuff I never could. So it was like, I feel like learning how to work with someone is more about just finding what you're willing to give up and trust them with. And what you can, lean on yourself for a little bit heavier. So I had to let my ego go down of like, maybe I'm not the ideas person anymore. Maybe my wife is the one who's really the more brilliant of the two of us. And my goal is to just push her forward. And I think you had to let go of, maybe I've got to lean on him to make this happen a little bit more. So it was 6 months of just like, I wouldn't let her be the ideas person. I'd fight her on everything.
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't let me really be the one pushing it forward. I mean, obviously we still have, we still have our conflicts.
It's never going to be perfect.
No.
You didn't figure it out yet?
Exactly. But I think in any working dynamic, to make it successful, you've got to let your ego down a little bit and realize what they do better than you. So, it was I think it's helped our relationship as a whole, as people, to work together. But I could also see it. I don't know. We're pretty lucky. I'm lucky to have someone who's willing to work with me like that. I could see it being really tough for, other people to do that. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's probably part of the process, right?
Yeah.
Is the learning how to work with each other. And whether it's just exclusively an intimate relationship or a business relationship, there's always going to be friction. There's always going to be trouble. There's always going to be problems that come across in any relationship. So it's about trying to work through those and not just run away at the first sign when things are going downhill.
And it's about finding something you care about enough that you're willing to push through, right? Because for us, YouTube and kind of this social media brand that we've built, it started out as something we just enjoyed to do. So there were a little bit less stakes. So we could work together, and it wasn't like we had a ton of money on the line. It wasn't like we had our careers on the line. It was just like something we wanted to do, and we worked out those kinks. And then slowly it's turning in real time into our careers in a sense. But we were able to figure it out before it was that, when it was just a hobby, when it was just, let's figure out our dynamic, and then let's take it to a next level after we kind of figured ourselves out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So when did minimalism come into your lives? When did you guys first start to think about the things in your life and your relationship with those things?
So it started when we were dating, and we were dating long distance. And so we were traveling all over the country just to see each other. And that meant that we were basically living out of a suitcase. I was living out of a suitcase. He was kind of living out of a car. And when we moved in together and kind of combined all of our stuff, we really didn't have that much in the first place. But it, filled up half of our apartment. And we were like, whoa, we've not even touched most of this stuff for the last, 3 years of our lives. And so that kind of sent us into, let's purge and let's get rid of all the stuff that we really don't need, that has no role in our life. And then that allowed us also, because we didn't own any furniture or anything like that beforehand, so we were able to come in with a lot more intention with those bigger purchase items. And we just kind of intentionally curated a life and fell in love with that, like that with every aspect of our life, not just our stuff and our wardrobe and that kind of thing, but also our relationships and how much time we spend on social media and things like that.
And I think that the real push for us to be minimalist was that Aubry, she was in LA and she decided to move to San Antonio to join me there. And at the time we were long distance, we would meet each other in Chicago or Portland or whatever for dates, right? Because like, what else do you do? We lived halfway across the country from each other. When you joined me, she moved in with her aunt and uncle, just for about 6 months in a transition period. And I remember I moved my stuff into that room too. Yeah, and the room was just packed with stuff. It was like impossible to live in that room because it was just like full of all of my crap more than yours. Yeah. It was just full of all this stuff. And it was like, why? It was just that question of like, this is inconveniencing us to store all of this. And we intentionally put it to where it's like she was seeing it every single day. It's like you got to walk over all of our crap just to get to bed, right? So I think when we moved into the apartment, that's when it was like, we're only going to move, the stuff that we actually need here. And at the end of the day, it was a tiny little pile of things. I mean, we lived in an empty apartment for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. You know what I mean? And we lived in like a uncomfortably empty apartment for probably 6 months as we slowly were like, we're going to go thrifting for, in junk stores for our table. And we did that a few times. We finally found our table and we're like, yes, we have a table. Like, thank God we finally have a table. Yeah. But we love that table. It's the only table we ever had. And it was like, you know what I'm saying? So it was a very slow process.
Yeah. It's funny how like when you first move into an apartment, there's like almost a honeymoon phase where you're like, oh, we got to get all this stuff. Yeah. We got to fill every single wall. We got to, make sure we get the couches, and then like let's get that nice L-shaped couch.
Exactly.
If you have ever had the misfortune of going through IKEA as a couple, it'll just
destroy
kills you. Yeah. We always say that they should have like a therapy booth at the very end after you go through all the toiletries and shit, because it's just chaos. Like there's so many decisions that you need to make, which is just wearing on you. And because there's so many things that might go in a house, and like, it's just funny, like all the things that we think that we need, from like straws to throw pillows to ornaments. It's like, where do you draw the line, and like how do you know what to bring in and what to not? But then once that honeymoon phase is over, you just get used to your house the way it is.
Exactly.
People come over to this house and they're like, oh wow, you guys are minimalist. And I'm like, I honestly, like, I don't look at my walls. Like I'm not like paying attention to the stuff that's there. True. You just essentially, like, that stuff, it doesn't even exist anymore. Like it's not there. Yes. So I think that's the big challenge, is like, how do we just be okay with this, like having less stuff and not feeling that, like, where does that urge come from to begin with?
Absolutely. So I think for us, it was almost just exactly what you're saying, practicing, fighting the urge in the first couple of weeks to fill it up. Because I mean, like, we didn't have anything on our walls for the longest time. We ended up getting one set of prints like 8 months in. That was just really simple. That's all we ever had.
Yeah.
And we had this really big like concrete walls, concrete apartment. It was echoey. It was like you wanted to fill it up, right? It was just like you feel like you're in a cave. But I think we got one rug. And we were like, oh my gosh, this rug is a game changer. Like it's not echoing anymore. This is all we need. You know what I mean? So it was practicing fighting the urge, just like you're saying. And especially because like I'm from Texas, we were in Texas, and Texas is known for these like McMansions where it's a 4,000 square foot house. Like, who needs a 4,000 square foot house, right? And when you have 4 empty rooms, you have to fill those rooms up. You can't have wasted rooms, right? So it's just this like compulsive urge to just, there's no reason to fill these rooms up. But,
That's the thing that when I'm looking up apartments, trying to find apartments, I'm probably one of the only ones, maybe you guys included, once maybe you get back to living in an actual apartment. But like, I actually search and restrict it. Like, I don't want to find a bigger place. I want to find a small place. I want to find a place that I don't have to decorate. And like, that also goes in the actual decor of the place. Like, if you can find a space that maybe has interior brick or a lot of great open windows, you don't feel that urge or the sense to actually throw shit on the walls, to like just get prints for no reason. Like, that's the funny thing is like you're trying to find ways to fill the walls. Yeah. You're struggling. All right, well, let's just look up coolprints.com or like you're just Google searching for inspiration, right?
Yeah.
Aubry, your house burned down when you were a kid.
Yeah.
That must have been like, talk about one of those experiences where you think about the things in your life and the relationship with stuff.
Yeah.
How old were you when that happened?
I was 14. And it's interesting you bring that up because I think that does play a really big role in how I viewed stuff. So, I mean, I was, 14, so like old enough to really process what was going on. And once we lost everything really, like I had the clothes on my back for one night, then we went and bought more stuff. But I remember that feeling, falling asleep in a hotel room, being like, whoa. All I own right now are the clothes that I'm wearing to sleep right now, like literally. And I realized that everything was okay. It really was. Just because we had lost all that stuff, I was still living. My whole family was still living. Everybody was fine. And so I think I carried that into becoming an adult in a lot of ways where I realized, okay, even if I have a small group of things that are very important to me, like my computer, because I like creating stuff and I like, being on social media and things like that. Even if I lost that, it's expensive, but it can be replaced and it's not going to be a big deal. Or when I go on a trip, if I forget something, it's probably not that big of a deal. Like I can wear a different piece of clothing or something like that. So I think it really did allow me to experience minimalism without necessarily having to be intentional in the first place, if that makes sense.
How you react in that situation, a lot of people could react really negatively and like justifiably so.
Right.
You know what I mean? To have your house burn down is a horrible thing, but you can gain some sense of control in being able to actually control how you feel about the situation.
It's true.
And that really, I think, starts probably with our relationship with stuff to begin with. Yes. Because if you are not so attached to all those things in your house, if you're not so possessive over it, then if something like that happens, you can almost maybe experience and think about, all right, what would that be like? If I'd lost all my stuff today, how horrible would that be to me?
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, it's not going to be that bad. It's never the end of the world as long as you're alive, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think to that point, as we were dating and you were traveling all the time, I saw you practice that with how you packed. Do you remember that? Because Aubry traveled did 40 flights that year, 50 flights. I don't know. She was flying like crazy for some reason.
Just for work.
Are you a spy?
Yeah.
That seems like
her airline miles were like unbelievable.
Insane.
Yeah. But I remember throughout the year, and you could speak to this better than me, obviously it's your stuff, but I remember like how your packing changed because it just became like you can like just look at her. She's pretty down to earth anyway. Like doesn't wear makeup, doesn't need a whole lot of things to take care of herself, which I like about you. But I remember seeing your packing minimize because at first you're packing a suitcase for every trip, like most people, and then it was like a bag, and then it was like a backpack, and then it became.
No, I think it was weird because
I had a bragging right.
I had a big suitcase, and I would fill it like a quarter of the way, and I was like, "What am I doing right now?"
And then you went to backpack, and then you basically just went to like nothing.
Yeah,
and it was like a bragging right, like I don't even need a carry-on this time.
Isn't it? It's kind of like a bragging right of travelers and minimalists or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, how few stuff can you travel with?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then if I put out a video where I'm like packing like a bunch of shirts and maybe extra pair of shoes for a nice dinner, it's like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah. You're like embarrassed. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. Right. You get out in front of it. You're like, oh god.
You going to your wedding, Matt? Like,
I'm
what's the big
ashamed.
deal?
So how do you guys travel now? Say if you're going to take a flight somewhere or go somewhere, carry on.
Yeah.
Max
only.
is a backpack.
Yeah.
Even if we're like,
Honestly,
you're going to go to London for a couple weeks. Do you think you'll take more than a backpack?
No, I mean, I'll have to take equipment. That always kind of, complicates things.
Your equipment bag and then like
and
maybe
then
a
like
backpack.
a bag. But I'll be there for 2 weeks. And
Equipment as in like
camera equipment,
maybe
and a computer. And
are you going to bring a tripod, a small tripod? Or,
yeah.
Okay.
Like I'll have to bring all that stuff because I'm going to be making content. But like I'll probably just take my computer bag and see how many clothes I can fit in.
Dude, I used to do that.
Yeah.
Because I was just reminiscing on this recently where I'm thankful that I don't have to travel as much anymore as I used to for work. Because I used to be just flying around all the time. Yeah. And I think it actually, a lot of people think, wow, that's so cool. That's really amazing. And it is in the beginning, especially when you're young and you haven't traveled much.
Right.
But then it just really actually adds to the stress of what a normal, regular shoot would be.
Yeah.
If I just did a shoot in New York where I lived at the time, it would be easy. I could just like wake up in the morning. I don't have to plan ahead. I mean, you plan ahead, but like I don't have to really think about 3 days ahead.
Yeah.
And then the packing, and then what if my bag gets lost? What if the person I hired in this foreign town doesn't show up or whatever?
Yeah.
There's so many things that could go wrong, and not having to travel that much is actually great. But I used to do that where I would take my camera bags. I would have a camera backpack and then a Pelican case, and it was just stuffed with clothing, which helped to actually pad it and make it more secure.
Yeah.
But it also ensured that I'm like, well, I'm going for 3 days or 2 days. I only need to bring a couple T-shirts and a couple pairs of underwear or whatever. I need to bring a lot more camera gear with me.
Yeah.
So and it's just, that's kind of one of the troubles of being minimalists and filmmakers, right?
Right.
Is that there's
We're
a lot
not
of
very
gear.
minimalist about our gear.
Yeah, same with me.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this.
You're very not minimalist. About
Okay,
your
but
gear.
here's the
Your
thing
setup's
about
amazing.
minimalism. I hate it when people say that minimalism is like only having less stuff. I really think what it is only having the things that add value to your life, And so for camera gear, it's like, it obviously adds value to your life. This is now your career and what you're doing with your life. And so just having a lot of cameras doesn't necessarily mean that you're not minimalist.
It's the intentionality, right?
Yeah,
It's not the. I feel like sometimes, especially when you're new to minimalism, you get caught up in this like. It's fun to like to have this space in your life, have the freedom, and it's like, oh my gosh, you feel like you found something. You're like, how has everyone not found this? And I think you get caught up in this excitement of just like less is more, which is true, but it is easy to start just getting irrational about it and just throwing out stuff for the sake of throwing it out, where you're like, no, you're missing the point. Like, wear that out and then just don't buy a new one. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I completely agree with you that I think that's why minimalism content can get a little hard to make, or minimalism conversations can get a little hard to have, because like you were saying, it just becomes your philosophy. Like your house is just, or your apartment's just your apartment. You know what I'm saying? And it's not about like you're always trying to take that blender off the counter because like that counter needs to be just a little bit cleaner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't. Yeah, it's not less stuff for the sake of less stuff. It's less stuff for the sake of intentionality and emotional space, at least in our life. You know?
Yeah, I mean, less is more until less becomes less. Like,
Right. So
if you
true.
keep going too far, you're not going to be happy.
Exactly.
Like if I didn't have my camera gear, if I didn't have the things that I really love that actually truly do add a lot of value to my life, I would be not so happy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people miss the mark. And I think, maybe we need a little rebranding. I think what's nice about it, it does start a conversation. It does get people to think, oh, well, I could never do that. And then it at least gets people to start to talk about it versus just not paying attention to their stuff at all.
Right.
Because I think most people could use from letting go.
Oh, of 90%, right? Yeah, I'm talking about the last 10% where you're just like, do you really need to get rid of that last thing? It contributes to your life. It makes you happier. Maybe reconsider. But no, I mean, people could get rid of at least 90% and still be more, be more happy, right? Yeah.
Do you guys hold on to sentimental items, or have you gotten rid of pretty much all of them?
No, it's horrible. Like we get that question all the time, actually, of people who are like, okay, I have this thing, and my mom would be so heartbroken if I got rid of it, but I literally never even look at it. And I think there are a couple things.
God bless them. Like we wouldn't take that away from someone, but that's just not us. Like we're pretty just always changing people anyway, so sentimental stuff.
But also it helps that we live in a van, because now people know that like my mom has started getting us.
We can turn down stuff and not hurt feelings.
Yeah.
We don't have room for that
Sorry.
random fruit bowl.
Right.
That happened recently. It's like, can you keep the fruit bowl?
Yeah. But my mom has started getting us like gas cards, for like gas gift cards.
Oh, well, that is good.
Awesome, right?
Yeah, that's an amazing gift.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So. No, I feel the same way. I mean, I'm like, well, it's up to you. Just keep it. Yeah, I mean, exactly. if it's going to cause you that much anguish to get rid of it, you should probably keep it. Because I mean, but also, how many sentimental items do you have? Yeah. How many things of your mom's are you holding on to? And she's saying like, I would be very upset if you got rid of that and that and that and that. At some point, you're like,
well, it feels like it's like burdening you at that point. You know what I mean? Like we have a really good friend who we talk to a lot about this. Really, really close friend of ours, and she experienced a time of her life where she was in a lot of emotional stress. So she just started compulsively buying, right? And that's how she dealt with it. But then she attached so much emotional value to each individual item that giving each one away felt like just like this. It felt like just giving a huge emotional piece of her soul, and she couldn't do it. But then the root of that was that she had gone through this stressful time, and her recourse was to just collect. Right. And so she needed to learn how to let some of that stuff go. You know what I mean? It was tied to emotional energy. Right. So it's a fine line where it's like some sentimental things, like don't get rid of them just to get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that really, if it's not going to create more emotional space in your life and make you a happier person, don't get rid of it. But maybe it feels so important because it's tied to something deeper. You know what I mean? Like you don't know how to let these things go. Right.
Yeah.
And you need to practice that sometimes. Yeah.
Van life.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your guys' van life story, but when did this whole like crazy thing start? Because come on, it wasn't that long ago that living in a van was a weird thing to do.
It's still kind of weird. Like the more chances we have to talk about it and show we're professionals, we're normal people, like we're not freaking. Yeah. We're not showering in your front yard. Yeah. Well, you don't know.
Yeah. What happens at night?
No, you're right though.
But yeah, like, do you guys remember? I know you guys were early at the cusp of when this whole thing started.
Yeah, we didn't know other people were doing it.
So you didn't. You had kind of just gotten into it. You were what?
It
seems so weird, right?
So okay, I'll tell you where it started.
You guys are weird people.
Yeah. We are kind of weird people.
Yeah.
It came from minimalism, right? So that was a step towards it. So what happened was we were both working, and we come from a place where we were just really young and really poor. Just poor because we were young, right? It's just like sleeping on a couch, eating oatmeal, like you don't have anything. But we got married, we were working these jobs, and we quickly went from having nothing, and we were minimalists, we didn't really want that many things, to having everything we wanted, which wasn't that much, but it was like, we had everything we wanted. So we were in this place where I think we minimized, we bought the things we wanted, and we were like, okay, what's next? Like, are we just going to work for 20 more years and not want to buy anything else? And like, what? Right? Just go to nicer dinners? Like, is that really what our goal is here? So I was planning on moving to Southeast Asia for some nonprofit work before we got married, actually. And once we got to this existential crisis again, I started reconsidering that just for a change of like, should we move to Asia? What should we do? We had a little bit of money in the bank finally, and then one night we were driving home from Austin and San Antonio, which is where my parents are, and I think I just said like, what if we just moved into a van? I really don't know where the idea came from. It was just like a random idea. Oh, my parents were selling their van. Yeah, my parents have a big family. They had this van. They were selling their van, and I was like, damn, maybe we should just buy that and then live in it. And Aubry was like, that's a good idea. Yeah. And the next 2 days was just us looking at each other being like, hold on, are you serious about this van thing? Like, are you BSing?
But I was 100% serious from the start.
Yeah, and
I
was
was like,
like
okay, 100%. Sounds good. Yeah. So then we started kind of looking online and realized, oh, this is a thing people do. And a lot of people buy cargo vans.
Sort of.
Yeah, on Instagram, it was a lot bigger at that point. And so we were realizing, oh, a lot of people buy cargo vans so they can stand up in them. That sounds nice. So let's do that instead. I think it was 2 weeks later, we bought the first Sprinter van that we came across on Craigslist. And he had kind of found this guy who had built vans before, who was a friend of a friend. And this guy was like, all right, let's make it happen. And he helped us build it out. And we were on the road.
6 months.
Yeah, 6 months.
We had to like wind our jobs down, get remote. But 2 weeks from idea inception to money on the table, baby. We're pretty impulsive.
All right. Right. So then you went all in.
Yeah.
And now you're in a van.
No, I've been for a year and 5 months.
Yeah.
Something like 3 months, year and 3 months.
That's amazing.
A while.
Yeah. No signs of slowing down at this point?
No, sir.
Not at all.
That's amazing. I love it.
Getting started.
That's so good. Yeah. So when you guys first get in the van, are you like, all right, where do you want to go? Or is it, do we just like stay in our parents' drive?
We were
driveway
traveling
for a
the whole
while?
time. We were both working at the time. So Aubrey had already had a remote job and had for like 4 years or something, or 3 years probably at that point. So she just kept doing her remote job. It worked out perfect. And then I transitioned to, it was sort of like my job, but it was like a scaled down version, right? But I could still work. So we still had work to do. So a lot of our travels where we wanted to travel, but we also had a lot of work to do. So it was like balancing those two things.
Yeah.
But we weren't staying in one place. We were like
Going all
going
over the
too
place.
fast.
Yeah.
We were just like zipping across the country.
Yeah. We started in the Pacific Northwest. My family lives in Washington. So we wanted to, like, we had spent a lot of time with his family because they lived an hour away and my family was feeling that. So they were like, come visit us. So we went and visited them a lot and spent a lot of time in Washington and that kind of thing. Did a lot of the West Coast. But since then, we've been to Mexico. We spent a lot of time in Mexico. We've spent a lot of time in Canada, just kind of all over the States as well. So, yeah.
Speaking of family,
Yeah.
I mean, millennials, the minimal millennials, we're all millennials. People our age, they get it. This is like a normal thing.
No brainer.
But what about like parents? Are they like, this is, are you guys sure about this?
Yeah, we're really fortunate actually to
Yeah.
have very supportive parents. His parents, I think, live vicariously through us in a lot of ways. Yeah. So they're really stoked for us. And my parents, I think, were just really excited to know that we would visit them more often.
Yeah.
So they were stoked.
I think too, we're like pursuing something through it. We're doing our YouTube channel where, we're putting a lot of investment in that and we're seeing success in it. So I obviously that's helps, right?
It's it helps when you're doing well.
Yeah,
when you have a
exactly.
choice.
Yes,
When you're in the van by no
So true.
choice.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
People might question it, but then fuck them because
Right, exactly.
Because you're like, well, that's all. I can't afford an apartment. I have to live in a van.
Exactly.
Right.
Actually, that
There's
brings
a difference.
Yeah, that brings up the finances though too, because I did just watch a video recently where you break down a lot of the finance, and you guys are super transparent about how much it costs to live and to travel in a van. What does that look like? Are you guys saving a lot of money compared to living in an apartment?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think people think, oh, you're living in a van now, suddenly life is so cheap. And it's not. Like, we still go out to eat and we have a good time. We don't try to just like stay in our van and not do anything.
We live it up, honestly.
Yeah, we definitely live it up. But we definitely do save a lot more money this way.
What's the most expensive dinner you've ever had?
Oh, probably in Iceland.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Iceland, everything's 4 times more expensive than
but
normal.
LA
Yeah.
is expensive.
That's
They hit
true.
you with
That
those
is
$80-$100 dinners all the time, which isn't too
Yeah.
crazy. I guess in Toronto, we had this. We're vegan, so vegan food is not cheap.
Gracias
Yeah.
Madre, did you go there?
We
We
did.
have,
That was
yeah.
not cheap.
Yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
nice.
it's pretty good.
It didn't blow us away.
It didn't blow you away.
No.
See, I'm not. See, well, you guys are vegans, so
We're
Yeah,
pretty picky.
we're
We're also
super
we
picky.
cook a lot, and our best friends also cook a lot. We travel with them all the time, and everyone. I'm not a very good cook, but the other 3 of them are all excellent. So we're spoiled. We rarely find a place that blows us away.
I would say though, like Gracias Madre definitely reminded us of Mexico, and our best vegan food we've ever had is in Mexico, and a fraction of the price.
There's a connection there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
you're hard to
Yeah.
please though. You didn't like that Iceland hot dog. So,
No, man, we weren't vegan at the time. Now we're even pickier now.
Yeah.
No, but like, remember that place in Toronto that had the hot dog carrot hot dogs?
Yeah, that was the most expensive
few
carrot
$100 for
we've
dinner.
ever.
Yeah. Ooh, look out below.
Yeah.
wow.
But it was
like
it
high
was
end.
like trying to be fine dining for vegans, which it was. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And we were looking forward to that experience because we hadn't had.
It's hard.
that
It's hard to
since-
find. I mean,
Yeah.
we've found some in LA that really are. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
we,
That's
we,
amazing.
we hit the vegan spots.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sidetracked you.
Yeah.
The finances
Yeah.
of the van life.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is a lot more affordable. It's also a little bit harder to make money. So
Right.
we've been really fortunate to have our social media brand, and that's been growing and doing fairly well for us. We're not like rolling in the dough or anything. But yeah, it's definitely more affordable. And I think
Yeah.
the most affordable way to travel, because you're never paying for accommodations and you can always make your own food and that kind of thing. So
But there is a direct trade-off.
Yeah.
Like we're making pretty good money when we were in San Antonio, and that income was just slashed. I mean, just completely slashed, right? And so we're at the point where like our bill ratio to our income ratio is really solid, but our income is nowhere. Our income wouldn't even cover our bills
right.
from when we were in San Antonio, right? So it's all relative, right? Like
Yeah.
we live a lifestyle now that we probably spend a couple $1,000 a month. But we eat out and we have a ton of insurances for everything, and we buy good equipment and,
Well, there's like that. That's the pressure I think that a lot of us face.
Yeah.
Is what's your salary? You
Right.
make six figs, man. You making six
Right.
figs now? Like
Exactly.
everybody's so obsessed with what your salary is, and it's like, what about the ratio?
What's the quality
to
of
what
life?
you're making to what
Exactly.
you're spending?
It's true.
You know, and like that is to me is way more important because
Yeah.
if you're making six figures but you're spending six figures,
It's not
Yeah.
worth it.
It's not a
man.
good equation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because we were breaking it down, and we probably make, I don't know, we don't care. I mean, we're totally open to talk about this stuff. I don't know if you care about this on your podcast.
no, yeah, of course.
I mean, we probably make like $4,000 to $5,000 a month, which is not even close to what we were making before. I mean, I was making more than that by myself. But it's like our we only spend $2,000 a month, so we are able to save, and we hope to like buy a home that we can use as our home base, and we're working towards those things. But I don't think van life people have this idea that it's like you're gonna just save an incredible amount of money, and that's why you're doing it. And if anyone is going to a van to save money, don't do that. Like it doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
But you're exactly right, babe. That there aren't many lifestyles you can sustainably travel and make it a lifestyle to where like travel is our norm now. It's our home, and that's how we know how to make friends, and it's what we know now, and we can afford it on a month by month basis and not burn out because of what we're doing. So it is the only lifestyle I know that you can really sustainably do that. You know what I mean? If you wanted to.
Yeah. Are there any hidden costs that you didn't think about before you got
For
into
sure.
it?
Well, you're living in a vehicle, right? So your car breaks down. And we live in a Mercedes, so it's very expensive.
It's a work van,
Yeah.
but it's an expensive work
Yeah,
van.
so we've had to replace our engine, which I think all told was $18,000.
No, it was about 14.
Well, with labor and everything.
No, it's
so
about 14
Oh,
with
never
labor.
mind.
But
still,
we bought the
so-
van really cheap and knew there was like
Yeah.
we probably had to do something to the SUV. We bought it for $5,500, which is about like $7,000 or $8,000 below the market value, and then immediately
Yeah.
put a $14,000 engine in it.
Yeah. Even just services, it's like we have to prepare ourselves for $1,500 charges and stuff like that. So that's definitely a hidden thing where like we like to have an emergency fund put away for that at all times.
Yeah, so it seems like your emergency fund must be bigger, both being working remote and this scenario. You know, you have to really plan ahead.
For sure.
Because, a lot of people say, well, what if your car breaks down? That's like your house breaking down. So you really need
It's
to
like
make
a roof
sure.
caving in
Yeah.
or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we have 10,000 set aside. Yeah,
At least.
for us, it's a must to
Yeah.
enjoy our travels and have like emotional stability. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that with I'm like maybe 5 to 6 months of expenses
Exactly.
where I'm like bare minimum expenses
Yep.
where if I have to eat rice and beans for 6 months,
You could
so
survive.
be it,
Yeah.
but I will survive.
Yes,
Yeah.
And like there's always, you kind of always push the threshold a little bit, I think, as like maybe you stack up a little bit more money in your savings. But it's all about what you can stomach. And lately, especially as I get older, I can't stomach as much. Right? You know what I mean? Like back when I was like young, when I first moved home after college, I mean, I had $26 in the bank account.
Exactly.
Imagine
Yeah.
just having like.
I
less than
literally
a
can't
G.
anymore, dude. Because when we were like saving to get married, I was eating oatmeal 3 times a day because it cost me less than a dime per meal, and it was just oatmeal and water. So I'd like sneak my oatmeal to my work.
No cinnamon.
Nothing. No milk. I would go to the hot water dispenser and like sneak my little bowl and put some hot water straight up, and that's all I would eat for months and sleep on a couch. And I was okay. But like now, oh my God, I'm so spoiled. Like we live in a van, and I can't even imagine that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's all about knowing yourself too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What's the work situation like?
Work situation is mostly YouTube and social media at this point, which has been awesome. And then every once in a while, like this summer, he worked full time for the company that we worked for in San Antonio, just remotely. And so sometimes we'll pick up jobs like that. We're going to Toronto to work for some friends. And so there's kind of random things that we'll do along the way. But at this point,
Well, I
YouTube
will say
pays
this.
the bills.
We've never had a period of more than like a month and a half where we weren't doing another job.
Yeah.
But I think soon we'll be at the point where we just, that's just because we like to work, honestly. I think that travel without any goal is a little, at least for me, it's not very fulfilling. I think that's for you too. So our social media brand is to the point where it is a full-time job for both of us. We want it to be. This summer was insane, man. I just finished like full-time and trying to do everything. And it was
That's a lot, dude.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
What were your days like during that? Where you
I was-
have to like make YouTube videos and
Yeah, it was
work, what,
crazy.
8 hours
Well,
a day?
I was waking up at six o'clock to start work because it was Central Time hours. So my hours were like 6:30 a.m. to like 3 in the afternoon, and then starting at 3, we were usually with friends, so we'd make videos from like 3 or content from like 3 to sundown, and then I'll go to dinner and hang out and edit from like sundown to like midnight, and then back up at 6 to on calls all day. It was.
And we had to pretend like we were having fun the whole time.
Oh my God.
Like, you know,
because it's energy, it's YouTube. You know,
because like our videos are very much like people want to see us out in nature, adventuring, doing something interesting, and so. Which is good because it means that we're exploring all the time and we're pushed to do that. So we've seen so much in the last year and a half.
Way more than we would have.
Yeah, for sure. But sometimes it can be exhausting.
It's really hard to turn it on after you've been working all day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that there is something to be said about grinding and hustling and working hard. Yep. But you should only grind so far that your life doesn't become a grind.
Right.
So and like once
and it's diminishing returns at a point, man. Like I was realizing that after this summer, because it's like, you put in all this work over here, but people can tell when you don't have energy, you know what I mean? And your work suffers when you don't have energy. And so that's what I was realizing over the summers. I don't really plan to put us in that situation again. It was a great call, but it was a little too much. And I think the rest of your life starts to suffer in a way that it doesn't make sense. Like, why are you investing over here? What do you actually care about? This is hurting this, right? So, it just doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the hardest thing to do though, is to cut off a tie like that.
Right.
I mean, I've had a couple clients come to me with like big projects being like, hey Matt, we got a real big budget on this one.
Right.
And I'm like, I loved working with them. That's an amazing client. The work was amazing. The money was really good. It wasn't that difficult. It was challenging enough in terms of storytelling, but it wasn't like, it was just, I'd done it so many times that I'm like, I could just do that. And it would be a 2-week project and I'd be in and out and that'd be it.
Yeah.
And I'd make a nice little stack of money.
Exactly.
But then I'm like, that's going to detract from everything else that I'm doing. Everything I'm creating, it's going to distract me. Yep. And then that's because consistency is so important with what we do, making YouTube videos. It's like, if you then slip and you miss a couple weeks, it's going to be so much harder to get back into it.
It's all about momentum.
It really is.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I know.
Yeah. Well, you were talking about that too, where you guys had this really quick climb to 100,000 subscribers. Yeah. How long ago was it that you hit that? And then you did say that some of the momentum kind of slowed down a little bit.
Over the summer it did. So we started January 2017, all minimalism content, got from like no subscribers to 3,000 subscribers in 5 months or so. So, we were getting some views, a couple thousand views a video. We were pretty pleased with it. And again, we were working full time, it was just a hobby. And then we got in the van and we went from 3,000 to 9,000 subs in a month, which for us at the time was a big jump. And then over the rest of the year, we just gained a lot of momentum. So we got up to 50,000 subs by the end of the first year. And then we got Creator on the Rise, and that got us up to 75 pretty quick.
Gotta love that Creator on the Rise. We should
well,
start a club.
Here's the thing. I know.
Were you Creator on the Rise? Okay.
Yeah, that's how I got my first bump. I mean, it like there was a momentum growing, where
then it just...
And then it was like I got 7,000 and then 6,000 in a day.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was
exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
right?
it's not as simple as it seems though.
Yeah.
For us, at
it
least,
was weird
because we got 25,000 in 2 weeks. So it was 50 to 75 just like that. It was awesome. But then we went to Mexico and we were doing this great Mexico series, best engagement and views we ever had. We're going to get back to Mexico soon. It was probably the highlight of our channel. And we were partnering with this other channel who are kind of our best friends, and we were doing every other day vlogs. So one of us would be vlogging every day. It was awesome. It was a blast. But YouTube, they must have given us fake subs or some sort of fake boost, because over the next 2 months, even though it was our best momentum ever, we were losing subs. We would gain 500 in a day and lose 1,200 at midnight. We were like, what the hell is going on?
It was really weird. Yeah.
So it took us 2 more months to even stay at 75,000. You know what I mean?
I had that too.
Yeah.
I want to say that I lost like 9,000 in the night.
Yeah, exactly. At midnight.
Something fucking crazy.
Yeah. And messes with your head because you're like, what?
Well, because especially during that phase where it is so exciting. And like, obviously, like, I'm sure you guys preach just as much as I do. Like, it's not about the numbers. That's not what's important.
Exactly,
It's true. But when you're swept up in it, it's a lot of fun.
It's so fun.
Oh, like hitting a home run doesn't feel good.
Yeah,
it feels really good. It's really exciting. And then like, so like every morning you're like, checking it. And then you wake up and you're like, I lost 9,000.
Yeah, it's so demotivating, right? It's like, what are you?
Crushes you.
That's so weird that it happened to you too.
Yeah.
Screw YouTube,
You've blown
dude.
up though. How long have you been on YouTube before?
I want to say I started the podcast about a little over a year ago.
Okay.
Actually, probably a year and maybe 4 months at this point.
Okay.
And I like a lot of my YouTube videos were all just excerpts from the podcast, because like that was my main thing. It was just podcasts and then excerpts. Not really understanding how people were using YouTube, not really being into YouTubers, and really knowing nobody that I currently know in terms of content creators. Like I knew of Casey Neistat, but I didn't really get it. I didn't really understand why he was big and why people followed. So,
well, I'm gonna like flip the interview around real quick just
Mm-hmm.
for a second, because I think something you've done remarkably well that is so key to YouTube, and it's somewhere we're hoping to go ourselves, is that the space is so crowded and noisy. You've got to just decide what you're not going to do and decide to focus in a little bit, right? So I think our momentum, we'll get a ton of momentum in a phase where we are doing something very consistently and people know what to expect, but we're always traveling, so things are changing. And then we'll lose momentum when we go into a phase where we lose that consistency. Whereas when I go to watch a Matt D'Avella video, I know what I'm going for. And I know the aesthetic, and I know the feeling and the mood it's going to put me in. And when I'm just trying to relax at the end of a day, that's usually the mindset I want to be in, right? So I'm not necessarily going to wake up with a Matt D'Avella video. I know when I want
This
it.
is great market research.
No, but I know when I want it. I know why I want it. I know what I'm getting. And I think that's like, and you execute perfectly for what you're trying to do. You're not trying to be more than you are, right? You're trying to do what you do well.
Cool.
And I think that is what has been a part of your, at least from my perspective, is part of your momentum, is that you've honed in on what you do and you're comfortable within that. And that's what we're hoping to do as well. Is knowing what not to do, right? You're not supposed to be everything for everyone. You need to be Matt D'Avella, and people know what that means.
Yeah,
you know what
I think for me, to keep it like really, really simple, was that every time somebody clicks a video, I want them to know that like I put everything I had into it. Like this video is gonna be really good.
Yeah.
And that actually goes into what I was talking about when I first started out with just nothing but excerpts.
Yeah.
Which is, it's not me talking. Maybe it's a conversation back and forth. Maybe it's not. But it was realizing that, when I like, maybe tell a story, if I have this short format, if I do a tour of my apartment, that was the first video that took off. It was very simple and concise, but I like, it wasn't an excerpt.
Right.
And I was like, I can't do excerpts anymore. Right. As much as it was great to put out 3 videos a week, and feel good about it. But I was like, nobody's watching those videos because there's really no story there. It doesn't really have the kind of drive and the push that I would want from it.
That apartment video, by the way, is a home run. So cool.
Isn't it funny how those things work out?
Tours are just bread and butter, dude.
I didn't even know. I didn't know what I was getting into.
That
That was
the
our
same for
first
us.
video too.
Was it?
Minimalist apartment tour.
Crushed it.
Crushed. Our first over 100,000, and it just kept growing.
Yeah, it was. Dude, I just broke 1 million on mine.
Wow.
That was my first
Congrats.
million view video.
Wow.
Yeah.
We only have 1 miller too. So.
Oh, you got it? What is your 1 miller?
Our expenses, like monthly expenses on the road.
Oh, that's the one.
That
More
one
than
just
a
keeps-
million people know what we spend on coffee.
Isn't it so
Oh my
weird?
God,
It's kind of weird, but like I don't know if those numbers even like mean anything because you
I know.
you're like I'm like this is not really.
Yeah.
Although I was just in London and 2 people recognized me on
Yeah.
the street. Has
That's
that
jokes.
happened to you guys?
Happens
Yeah.
us a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
I think just
you live in LA, so people probably recognize you all the time and are just
Don't
too
say
cool
anything.
for school.
Yeah, they're like,
We
he's
get-
not Ben Stiller.
Right, right.
Exactly.
I mean?
Exactly.
Like I saw Jimmy Kimmel at the spa the other
Exactly.
day.
And I
Yeah.
didn't even talk to Jimmy Kimmel. I'm not
Yeah.
going to stoop.
Right.
Whereas like in the Northwest, we get recognized a few times a week.
Yeah.
No way. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
And like we were in Olympia one day and got recognized 3 times within like
I felt like Casey
couple of
Neistat.
hours.
I was like, whoa, what is
And it
what's
was,
going
but I
on?
think the truth is like part of it's an LA thing. And then part of it's the nature of our audience and that we've got a lot of younger people who we're very young ourselves. And then a lot of our audience is high school and college age, and they are even more in their developmental phase, and they're wanting to do this. So they look up to us, I think, disproportionate to the number of fans we have per se, right? Like we don't have a whole lot of broad scope of influence, but the people who are fans are like, oh my God, guys, I just bought a van because of you. So they're gonna come up to us in a different, you know what I mean, in a different way. Yeah.
How cool is that though?
It's amazing.
I mean,
so
and that's
cool.
really what's more important is like
100%.
the connection that you're building with people, and like it comes through authenticity and through being yourself and not trying to be fake. And I think people can see that, and you don't need to get 1 million views to be able to make that connection. There's a lot of creators. Cody Warner, he's got this awesome hashtag No Small Creator, and it's all about like it's like. We don't do this for views.
Right.
We don't do this for likes.
Right.
Money is important. We need money to keep doing it, but that's not the only reason. It's because we actually love.
And I believe that influence translates to money. I really do. Like I've been talking about this a lot recently. That like if you have people who are committed to what you're about and committed to what you're doing, you're always going to find a way to make money. You don't have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel like if you can really focus on building a group of people who you're delivering something that they are obsessed with, the money will just come. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot easier to make $100,000 than it is to get 100,000 people who are passionate about what you're about. You know what I mean? I just think that, you know what I mean? And that's new media versus old media, whereas old media is all about here's our budget, here's how we're going to fit into the budget, here's what's going to translate to dollar for dollar. New media is about where's the influence and the true commitment from the people watching it?
Yeah, and just because you have 1 million followers doesn't mean you're an influencer.
Yes.
A lot of people think that, oh wow, and like they idolize that and they want to be that, but it's like if they ask their audience like, hey, do you guys want to, subscribe to my Patreon account,
Yeah.
and then birds chirping.
Exactly.
Because they haven't put in the real time.
Yes.
They've put up the beautiful photos, but they haven't really actually made a connection
Yes.
beyond that.
Exactly.
And I think there's something really damaging about the nothing but beauty and not talking some realness.
The surface
Sure.
level,
Because we
sure.
all get a little bit swept up in that, and it's kind of hard to remind ourselves that the people that we follow online have bad days, and that we all are going through this. And I think that's something that you guys do well too. Is on your channel, you'll talk about like, hey, we had a bad day. Hey, we've been fighting a lot. Like this stuff happens, and it's kind of part of the journey.
Yeah, we do that in a lot of ways because I think van life is put on this pedestal of, oh, wow, you travel all the
the
time.
dream life, right?
Yeah, it's the dream life. You get to live in a van, you get to wake up in beautiful places, and it's not always that. It's actually so much harder for us to do laundry and get water, and we have a limited amount of electricity and things like that. It's not all amazing. And so we try to like help people understand, if you want to live this lifestyle, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to fix all of your problems. So.
Right. But you're right, though. It's so easy to get caught up
Yeah.
for us, because there's a lot of van life influencers, especially on Instagram, that they make their whole shtick is the perfect surface
Beautiful,
level.
yeah.
Some news media company who's trying to get trendy is going to tweet their amazing picture because it just looks like what everyone's dreaming about at work, right? So there's a level of appeal to that's easy for us to, want.
Play to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I
it's
think
not
sometimes.
us.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's like it's okay to like make a fun travel video, and it's
Right.
like high energy and exciting,
Yeah.
and like that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
Right.
But I think it's about having the balance and being able to. So the people that really follow you really know what it's like,
Right.
Because
I
I
hope so.
imagine how long it must have become a new normal at some
Oh,
point,
yeah, of
right, for
course.
you guys. Like,
Yeah,
at what
yeah.
point because you can't just be like, woo, for like, a year and a half, 2 years,
right.
just like every day is blissful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how long do you think it took until that kind of the new normal set in, where you're like, all right, cool. Like, we still love it, even after this
Dude,
honeymoon
it took
phase.
like a month and a half because here's what happened. We were traveling, and we went to Seattle, and do you remember this whole experience? So we were in Seattle for 3 weeks. It was awesome. We loved Seattle, but we were just trying to we were out on the road, and we felt like we can't waste this time.
Yeah.
Like today, we have time. We've got to go to Mount Rainier. Then today we've got to go try this amazing restaurant. And then today we've got to do this and this. And then 3-4 weeks in, this is probably 6 weeks into our van life, we were just wiped out. And we were like, this sucks. You know
Because
what
we
I mean?
came in with that mindset of when you go, like you were
It's
just
the
in London and
vacation
Iceland.
mindset.
Yeah, you're supposed to take advantage of every single day, right? And it's like a failure of a trip if you don't. And this suddenly became our lifestyle, and we had to figure out how to balance. Okay, we still have to make sure that we're making healthy meals, and we're doing our laundry, and we're cleaning our home, and things like that are just normal life. But we just happen to be in a new place, meeting new people every single day.
Yeah.
Right, like you'll have the travelers that like plan their itinerary out per
Right.
the minute. Like,
Right.
all right, we'll
Yeah.
spend about 15 to 20 minutes here.
Right.
We need to
Right.
get going, go to the bathroom, and then we're going to our next site.
Yeah.
It's just
like-
a job at that point, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's work. And I think for us, we realized that if we're planning to do this for years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
And we have the time. You know what I mean? Might as well just dig in deep and enjoy a place. We've been in LA for 3 weeks. Before this, we were in Portland for about 2 months, or the surrounding area, Cape Cod or Mount Hood or whatever. And it's just it's about building a lifestyle that's sustainable, because the travel mindset, it just isn't sustainable. You're not going to do that for 2 years. I mean, think about it. When you're on vacation, 2 weeks in, you're like, I kind of miss being home.
I kind of need a vacation from my vacation.
Yeah.
Exactly. I need this consistency and the routine again. And we were like, we've got to build in routine. We're dying over here.
Yeah, that's actually a really great point. And that's something I try to do when I'm traveling. Is like, how can I somehow bring my routine into this, whether
Right.
it's eating healthy or exercising? How did you guys, is there a trick to it in terms of making sure you're on a routine? Because your routines must change living on the road.
Of course.
So it's like, how do you make a
Yeah.
routine in a van?
Oh man, it's tough.
Yeah.
I think there are natural things that happen where when we run out of water or we run out of groceries, we just have to make it happen. Or when we're like smelling each other and we need to go grab a shower, like we just have to go work out because we have a gym membership and that's how we shower. So like there's things that kind of just the natural course, I think, keeps us on track a little bit. But it's hard. Like we've not been doing a great job, to be honest with you, in the last few months.
I think YouTube is like helps us with our rhythm too.
Yeah.
When we put out 3 videos a week, we know our deadline's there.
Is it how many you guys put out?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and we try to post an Instagram post every day, and then we're starting this podcast too. It's just,
Do you guys schedule this stuff in advance?
Kind of.
We try.
3 is a lot though to
We're kind of always like this morning right before we came over to here, while we were 5 minutes late, is because we were just exporting our Saturday video, you know. So
great.
We're in a good place.
Yeah.
If we get a week ahead, we're like, oh my god, we're a week ahead. Thank God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think that keeps us on. There's like, you know, I think what I realized is you can't have a daily routine quite as well when you're traveling because every day is gonna be different, but you can ride the ebbs and flows. So if you're out in nature, you know, this week is going to be a certain way, and you're going to be like, you know, changing your behavioral patterns while you're out here, and then you're back in the city and you can just be comfortable there and you can settle in and you can go to the gym a little more, or you know what I mean? So you're riding the ebbs and flows of the lifestyle rather than, you know, because we're not going to wake up at the same time every morning. We're not going to just wake up and then meditate and journal and work out. And,
that was one thing.
Maybe
like,
we're in a neighborhood. Who the hell knows?
You're right. I tried when we were in Portland, I really tried to do something active every single day. And every day that was different.
Right.
Like one day we were at the coast and there was a sand dune, and I was like, okay, we're gonna go up the sand dune 3 times, you know, and
which was brutal, by the way.
Sure.
Or when we were in the city, we just biked. We would park the van and then bike into the city wherever we needed to go, and things like that just kind of keep you okay. That's one thing that I can commit to, even though it looks different every day.
And do you guys try to stay in a place for a certain period of time? Like how
we
long
like to. We did it very badly our first year because we were both working, so we would just shoot, and then we were realizing like we're exhausted from this. There's no real payoff to just going to a place for 3 days. You know what I mean? So I'd say a month. 3 weeks to a month is really probably our sweet spot for like if you want to see a place but you don't want to fully commit to the place, try it out for 3 weeks. Because then, you know, like in Portland we were just there for 6 weeks, but we went to the coast a lot. We would go like mountain biking up in the mountains for a couple of days, and then you know we're done with that. And then whatever it is, right? You ebb and flow a little bit.
Yeah, but that allowed us to like find a coffee shop that we liked.
Yeah, find a neighborhood that's we're living in that neighborhood for 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah, so I'd say about a month is how long we'll. You know, 3 weeks in LA has been long enough to get to know it.
Yeah, because I think you guys you're taking the long game approach.
Yes.
For sure.
You're not, you know, just trying, like you said in the beginning, you probably have this urge to take everything in as quick as possible to go, hey, let's go to this place, this place. But eventually it's like, all right, well, if we're in this for a couple of years, there's plenty of time to see the country.
Exactly.
And if we really like this place, maybe we'll stay for 2 months.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So you said that you have a gym membership now?
Yeah.
Is this like a national chain or
Planet
something?
Fitness.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So there's one in pretty much every major city.
There's even one in Canada. I mean, there's a few in Canada. So
yeah.
You know, it's $20 a month, unlimited access to the gyms, great clean showers.
And you get your shower. Is that where you guys usually get your showers in?
Yeah,
for
either
all your showers.
That or at a friend's house, and we know a lot of people, so we, you know,
That's good.
We
It's a good way
shower.
to meet people.
it's a good way.
Like, hey, can I shower?
It's crazy
No,
because like our followers are they know van life, right? They know what our lifestyle is like. And so a lot of them will be like, hey, I have a driveway, come park. I have a shower, come take a shower.
Yeah.
And
we get like 30 of those every time we roll into a new city. We'll get 30 to 100 Instagram messages just being like, hey, come over to my place.
Yeah.
Because they know where you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's really neat. That's cool. Do you guys do that often?
No.
Yeah, it might be kind of weird.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Not
We've done it before, but never just like, okay, I'll roll in. Like when I...
Yeah, I would feel
people are a little weird. Like, I don't know how people got my number. It floated out in a video, I think, on a friend's channel. And I got a call as soon as I got to LA. Shout out to this sweet guy who called me. But I got a call. It was like, hey, Christian, welcome to LA. I've got all these recommendations for you. You guys can come over to my place. I'm like, I'm not calling you back.
Who is
like,
this guy?
How did you get my number? You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's like sweet, but also a little creepy.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think in
I get
some ways I do trust our followers.
Yes.
You know, it's nice to have a community, and like if we're ever in a tight situation, we can fall back on them. But we also have our things that we figured out. We know how to park. We know how to shower. We don't
really need people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it can also be a lot if say you just get to town after driving for 6-7 hours.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want to be personable. I don't really want to talk to anybody right now.
Right,
I just
right.
want to have a shower and go to bed.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's why Planet Fitness is great.
Yeah.
24/7, right?
24/7.
That's pretty
That's right.
great.
It's
crazy.
awesome.
And it costs like $8. It's like
crazy.
a year. What is it?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, it's $20 a month if
Yeah.
you want unlimited
Yeah.
access to every gym.
All the gyms.
But my gosh,
That is a
$20 a month.
fraction of the cost
fraction.
Yeah.
of this like
And it's
bougie
clean,
gym
nice.
that I
Yeah.
go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try out Planet Fitness, baby.
Yeah, no, I did.
Not
actually.
sponsored by Planet
I don't
Fitness.
like Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
You know what I don't like about Planet Fitness? For you guys, it seems
Yeah, it's
It's
cute.
perfect.
Yeah.
Plus, we're not in very good shape, and we don't like to, especially me, and we don't like to work out that much, especially me. So it's like it's pretty.
So
it doesn't hurt our
It's
egos.
mostly for the shower.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
No, it's the gong. I don't like the big gong thing they do. Somebody
The gong?
or the lunk alarm.
Oh,
Sorry, it's
I've
not
never
the gong.
heard
Did
the
you
lunk
go
alarm
to
go
one?
off.
Did somebody pull the lunk
So,
alarm on
I
you?
think somebody pulled
What?
it on me. I think
What?
so. I think I'm pretty sure, or they were testing it.
Oh.
I'm not a grunter. Like I don't grunt a lot at the gym.
Yeah.
Every once in a while,
You're
you put
pretty
in
fit
some
guy,
effort.
though. You look
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you yell out. You not yell, but you like a little bit of.
Bullshit.
Extra
man.
voice
I've
noise
never
comes out of
got-
your mouth
We
box.
make a lot of noise when we go to Planet Fitness
Yeah.
because we'll do the 30-minute workout routine, which is like the big. I mean, we're not really trying to lose weight, but like it's the big like the Biggest Loser thing.
Yeah.
But it's like really active, gets your mind
Yeah.
going.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But we make a bunch of noise. We've never had the lunk alarm pulled on
Yeah,
us.
No.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure
People are
somebody
just
did.
a little jealous. They were eyeing you like,
I think
damn
that's it. Yeah.
Get out of here, you
Yeah.
looking guy.
I also wasn't wearing a shirt, so
Oh.
maybe I should have said that.
Yeah, you just gotta let the they're playing to the lowest common denominator. They're playing to the
Yeah.
people who need to get in the gym and are going to sign up in January for their New Year's resolution and never come. That's Planet Fitness.
You know what
Yeah.
the thing too is like they say it's a no judgment zone. Well, then they do judge the people obviously
Who
that
are trying.
that are
It's
really
true.
like bulky and big.
Yeah.
But
or
also
even
like
trying. I mean, like we're not in that great a shape, but we'll go up there and give some effort and we'll get some looks. Like, who the hell do you think you are?
yeah.
You know,
I don't
What
know.
do you think?
No, you know what? I was gonna say the opposite. I think most people don't actually care. It's just us. We think that other people are judging us.
That's probably
and that's why
true.
that's I think what they're kind of hone in on.
Yeah.
But I think most people are just so
They don't
concerned
care.
about themselves.
Yeah.
They're like, I didn't even know you were in this gym right
Right,
now. Like I was
exactly.
doing my own workout.
Yeah.
Wow, you got lunked.
I got lunked.
Wow.
Matt got lunked.
And then I canceled my membership next
God.
day.
I want to get lunked.
I know that's kind of a rite of passage.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you're fit enough. You're too good for this. Get the hell to some bougie job.
Should I like put that in my Twitter bio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been like, yeah.
I've been lunked before. Is that what
Yeah.
it's called? Did we just create?
We just created a
I
word.
think we did, yeah.
I'm pretty impressed though. I'd love to be lunked someday.
Really?
Yeah.
It takes.
a
Yeah.
dream.
No. Yeah. Now I'm owning it. Now I'm like,
You've
no, I
worked,
definitely
you've worked
was.
hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've worked hard for that lunk, dude. Yeah.
That's so funny.
I'm not deserving of a lunk yet.
No, that's cool. That actually works out really well. So I mean,
That's
you guys got it
beautiful.
all figured out.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
We,
right?
it's a lifestyle, dude. Like we are as comfortable as you are in our
Right.
day to day. I mean, it's our life, it's our home. It's comfortable, man. We don't need anybody. But then, of course, like the people you meet on the road is the best part of it. So we love people. We just don't
Yeah.
need them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You said that you're starting a podcast.
We are.
yeah. A couple episodes deep, baby.
Oh, you are.
Well, we haven't put
Well,
it out yet, but we've been collecting.
Oh, nice. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, we were hanging out with Colin and Samir, our
Our
good
boys.
buds,
Yeah. God bless
and we were on their podcast, and they were basically like, "You guys got to start a podcast." So then we used their kit. Shout out to their kit,
Yeah.
and just bought all
What
of
kit? Oh, their kit.
their
Their
podcast
kit,
kit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like too old. I didn't even.
Dude,
honestly,
you
I don't
got-
have a kit.
Oh my God, you've got so much. Our
Yeah.
podcast does not approach this, but we also we're usually we're the minimal millennials, right?
Yeah.
People usually just call us the millennials. So we're
Yeah.
like, you know what? We like to talk. We like to talk to our people, and honestly,
Yeah.
a lot of our videos, we make all these exciting vlogs, and they'll do well. But then we'll make a video where we're just like sitting down and having an honest conversation, and it'll do twice as good. And we're like, that felt like cheating. That took us an hour to make as opposed to a day. Like what? But so I think the podcast will be a good space just to let the hands off, be a little more honest, talk about the juicy stuff, religion, politics, sex, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. Don't do video with it.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
This is out of our league, Doc.
No,
You're
I
a
know.
legend.
I'm not saying that because I'm worried. I'm saying it mostly because it's so much work. And it's like, honestly, if I could just do audio, it'd be so much better.
That's all we're doing. It's so easy.
We could have
already.
just had our eyes closed the whole time
Oh
and
my
just
God.
like,
we could be
Yeah.
in our underwear right now.
yeah, we could,
Yeah.
but we can't.
We can't.
Because
Right.
people could see.
We dressed up a little bit for this. We gotta look good.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly,
The film
exactly.
stuff, it helped. It has helped me. I don't think that the podcast, it definitely wouldn't be where it is right now without the film side of
Definitely.
it. But
Well, and it's
certainly
also
a lot of
your
work.
main. It's been the thing for you that's kind of built the Matt D'Avella brand.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like
So
a staple.
and for us, it's like we have 3 videos a week in Instagram. We've got enough that's like on a weekly basis. The podcast is just a place for us to let loose. So we've already collected
So much fun. You
It's
get, like-
so fun and relaxing. And we have 4 interviews deep, and part of it's just us talking.
Not interviews.
Sorry, 2 interviews, but 4
Yeah.
conversations deep. And we hope to get like 10 of those before we even put it out. So we never have the stress of got to get it out.
Yeah,
you know?
and you could do it in the van, which I'm sure the acoustics are killer.
Beautiful.
Pretty good in
Yeah.
it. Van.
Yeah,
and
it
the
just can get
insulation's amazing.
toasty. That's the only thing. We don't have an AC or anything, so when we close all the doors,
Look out.
yeah.
Well, it could even be cool. Colin and Samir tried this. They did a I haven't talked to them about how they felt that it came out, but they did a podcast where they just clipped lavalier mics on themselves,
Yeah.
and they like went and got coffee and just
Right.
walked around the day, and
Right,
shit
right,
was
right, right,
happening,
right,
and it was just
Cool.
like crazy, and it was super interesting. I thought I really loved it. It could also be a little bit distracting.
Oh, yeah,
Just
yeah.
cars
Yeah.
driving by and shit. But I'm like, maybe you could even do like, I know I saw you guys were at like Venice Beach or whatever.
Right.
You could actually have the sounds of the beach there.
That'd be
Yeah.
fun.
Could be good. Could be a horrible idea.
It's
Yeah.
not.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
It could be annoying.
Well, we could try it.
People will fall asleep.
Yeah, exactly.
on the podcast.
ASMR.
ASMR.
All right, we're getting back
Sounds
to
of
the
the beach.
ASMR. I need to make sure I include that ASMR bit
Right.
Yeah.
at the beginning of the podcast.
So it makes sense.
I gotta edit it.
Yeah.
No, I love the ASMR shit. It's so weird. You guys want to do quick questions, and then we'll wrap up with
All right.
20 minutes of ASMR.
Love it, man. Let's do it.
All right. So if you could go back, did you guys both graduate college?
Yeah.
If you could go back to college graduation, what would you do differently? What advice would you give to yourself?
Graduation.
Yeah.
Not like literally
I-
the day,
I would
but like,
say-
you know what I'm
sure.
talking about, like that time when you graduate and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, now what?
We got pretty lucky that we landed pretty well. I think most of my changes would be pre-graduation, but we both graduated debt-free and quickly, and that helped us out. So I think that I would just, I don't know,
I would say like don't worry. Just like find
Take
a
a
job
breath.
that works, and then take advantage of the opportunities in front of you, and move on with your life.
Yeah, it's like you don't
Yeah.
have to find,
Yeah.
I thought you don't have to find your dream thing. And
Yeah.
initially just work hard at whatever you've got and take
Yeah.
a breath, and everything's going to be okay. And, because as college kids, we all put pressure on ourselves to find what you want to do for the rest of your
Yeah,
life.
your
And
whole
that's
career,
bullshit.
yeah.
That doesn't exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much pressure.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That you have to do everything right now.
Exactly.
And then as we said, you see all these examples of people on Instagram
Yeah.
that are so successful, or at least appear successful.
Yes.
And it can be demoralizing. It can be tough when you're starting out, but it's like, I guess just be patient, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just work hard at whatever's in front of you. You don't have to go get your dream job right now. Just do your best and make the
Yeah.
connections. It's all about people. It's not about your damn dream job.
Yeah, and don't be too good for
Yes.
work, right? Like you got to say yes to everything.
Everything.
Yeah, pretty much everything when you're young.
Completely.
And like you said, just bust your ass at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then eventually shit will work out. Probably. It's not guaranteed.
No,
right?
but it
But
will,
it might
right?
work. It might not work out in the way that you want it to, but it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
That's my
probably, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't met too many people that are like, I worked really hard in life, and like I just kept grinding for like years and years and
Yeah.
years, and just nothing happened.
Right.
I know, that's
exactly.
the thing.
You know
If you're
what I mean?
working hard
Especially
and
if
you're
you're
open
like,
to anything.
if you're open to the opportunities, the
Yeah.
only people I think it doesn't work out for is the ones who wanted to be musicians so bad that 20 years down the road, they're still they're grinding for that first step. And it's like, come on, you didn't really take advantage of the opportunities there because you had your sights so focused on this version of yourself you want it to be
Yeah.
that you limited your ceiling. You know what I mean? So
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because maybe you weren't meant to be like a pop star.
Right.
Maybe you were meant to be a composer.
Yeah.
Maybe like how
Exactly.
many other different avenues could you
Right.
explore?
just get moving. Dude.
Yeah.
Stagnation is
Yeah.
everybody's worst enemy.
I
Just,
thought
you
I
know.
was going to be a musician, and then my parents were like, you need to get a degree. So I was like, okay, I'll get a marketing degree so that I can maybe market my music. Then marketing led me to social media, and now here I am. And I love it. This is awesome. It's not
Right.
exactly what I thought it was going to be, but
you could never guess that, right? From
Right,
college, you're like, I'm going to
exactly.
be a full-time YouTuber.
Exactly.
Right.
I thought it was gonna be in politics, man.
Yeah.
I went and worked in DC for 6 months, and I was like, forget this shit. Yeah.
Oh,
Which
really?
I wouldn't undo that, but like, it was just bullshit. But that's the thing, right? Just say yes, go for the next thing.
Yeah.
One thing will lead to another, and who would have thought like a political science degree leads to like, I don't know, whatever the hell we're doing now. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah, does anybody actually like? It sounds like you have a little bit of what you did in college.
Yeah, sort
but
of.
like, I mean, but yeah, even
Yeah,
like
yeah.
obviously, social media and marketing, everything changes so
Yeah,
much
yeah,
that it's like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
never going to be tit for tat what you learn.
like, what did you study?
I studied broadcast telecommunications.
That's pretty close.
So it was more so the a news TV show is what I would do.
Oh, okay.
Sure. Like I think I wanted to be an anchor.
Sure.
And now look at me. I'm a host of a podcast.
You're on radio.
I don't
You
know.
made it.
Eventually it's going to be, I don't know. I think podcasting is taking over.
Oh,
I think so, too.
agree.
I'm excited to check out your guys.
Yeah,
Wait,
thanks.
if people wanted to listen to your podcast when it's out.
Wait.
This is going to be a couple weeks.
Wait.
That yours
It'll probably come out. Yeah, probably early November actually. So we have a bit of a wait. Sorry to make you guys. Just hype it up, baby. Check
hype it
everything.
up.
We'll announce it on
Yeah.
YouTube though.
Okay.
And it's The Millennials is the name.
The podcast.
Yeah, we'll send people to your YouTube channel
Yeah.
for this one primarily.
And if you guys go to YouTube channel, you'll see a very cool feature on Matt. We have tons of things to learn from him. So go check out the channel and check out Matt, as an early way to walk yourself in. Dip the toe in the water.
Amazing. Yeah. What's the simplest advice that's the most important to follow for young creators?
Whoa.
Okay, that's not really a rapid fire. That's a good question.
It's not really rapid fire.
I've got one. It's kind of like it's back. In my opinion, it's back to the last question that we had, and this is something we're learning in real time. But it's just like put it out there because people get so paralyzed. They get analysis paralysis, and they will try to edit and they'll try to do all these things. But for us, like we talked about making a video for 6 months before we ever made a video, and all that planning. We could have planned for another 2 years, and it would have been meaningless because 2 weeks later, everything had changed. So it's like the world that we're in, being creators, changes on a day-to-day basis. And if you don't just put yourself out there and grow with it, your planning doesn't really mean anything. And we're a bit impulsive, as you can kind of see, so maybe this is biased. But I really think that just putting yourself out there and being open to staying with the flow of the river as it goes, that's the only way you can succeed as a creator,
You remind me, I don't know if we ever got to it, but we were talking about how you guys rose very quickly and then it sort of slowed down a little bit. When you are faced with what appears to be a wall as a creator, happens often,
Constantly.
whether it's with views or whatever, what do you do? How do you figure out how to move forward when you're like, I feel kind of stuck?
It's so hard because I think both as creative people and as YouTube creators, this whole numbers game just messes with your head, dude. Like, I can't even imagine doing it on my own like you do. Like, it just sounds like a nightmare, honestly.
Like an emotion, like an identity crisis every single day.
Because anytime a video doesn't, do as well as the last one, then you're thinking, oh no, my channel is dying. They figured me out. I don't actually know what I'm doing. And
do you guys see like a direct correlation to, because you guys put out a lot, so it's like easy. It's probably easier to see what's working, what's not. Do you see a direct correlation to what you find as really quality content, like it's a really good engaging video versus the thumbnail and the title?
The thumbnail and the title is everything, unfortunately. I think that's our weakest point right now because we really like to make content we feel is vulnerable and meaningful, and I think that we just don't go for the clicks enough.
Yeah.
Aubry's saying that all the time. We got
hard.
it's the point, man. You need to spend as much time on that as on the content. That's the nature of the beast.
Isn't it silly? But you have to play the game.
You
kind of do.
You do.
And I do, and I think in the beginning it was very hard for me to do. But I think you also find your own way to do it, a way that is authentic to you.
Totally.
So
and you've shout out, much respect to you, man, because you've honed that in very clearly. And we're still working on honing
Thanks,
it
man.
in.
Yeah, no, it takes a long time. I will literally write 10 to 15 alternate titles for one video where I'm like, maybe that's not good. And then sometimes I'm just not happy with it, where I'm like, this is going to really affect the overall viewership of the video, but doesn't matter, whatever. And I think a lot of people like to be like maybe virtue signal or be high and mighty and be like, I don't use clickbait at all. I don't. And it's like, you have to give them some incentive to want to click. You have to make it very
and
appealing.
I hate the way that people are using clickbait right now, because we'll put out a video that's called "We've been fighting a lot lately." We literally got an email from somebody immediately who was like, "You shouldn't clickbait." And I'm like, we literally said those words in the video.
That's literally what the video is about. So I think people now associate any kind of drama with clickbait. It's like, no, clickbait is when, we said, hey, we've got, Barack Obama on our channel. And then, like, he wasn't in the video. Like, that's clickbait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, clickbait is not like playing up drama. So it is a bit of a balance.
It's when you're misleading somebody.
Intentionally.
And it's like, that's, I think, the biggest thing is that people need to get what they came for.
Yes, exactly.
If it's a list, if it's a top 10 reasons why blah, 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 and it feels a little bit clickbaity, but you deliver on it, whatever. Then it's not that bad.
Right.
But, Yeah, it's like one of those things like fake news where it's just like you can just overuse it and throw it out there all the time that it's not going to mean anything anymore.
Yeah. We're at that point. It's frustrating as creators though,
Yeah.
Because I think it limits what you can do because like people just tune out when they hear a certain amount of drama, at least for us. I think that the positive correlation for us is that vulnerability is what contributes to our growth and less of it our growth, but more in our intentionality of our audience, how committed they are to us, how well the content does, and how much it builds our brand. It's all about vulnerability. I think that's actually probably the best advice to a young creator is like you can't
be authentic.
You cannot be too vulnerable and authentic.
Yeah.
I think that, man.
Yeah,
I think it'll pay you back in the end.
Yeah, authenticity, vulnerability. The authenticity, right? So important. And like that was something because I was nervous in the beginning to first start putting my stuff out there because I was like, my friends are gonna make fun of me. I was like, oh, they're gonna really rib me. But then I found a way to do it that was still in my voice, that was tongue in cheek, that had humor in it. And I was like, they can't make fun of me because this is like my personality. Like I'm not taking myself too seriously.
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes I get swept up where I do start to take myself a little bit too seriously.
It's hard.
And I'm like, man, have I been preaching for the past like 3 or 4 videos? And I need to loosen up a little bit. But I think that it's a game, right? And there's so many different elements to it that it's kind of, like you said, ebbs and wanes. What our life does, so does the content that we make.
Yeah,
you gotta just write it.
Yeah. Great. Let me see a couple more here. How do you guys get through doubt?
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah.
When it comes to like are you talking about say like being a creator specifically or something else?
I guess like when I think about doubt, it's more so like, man, I had doubt this morning personally where I'm like, is this gonna work? Like, is this working?
Yeah.
This whole thing, like, is it eventually just gonna stop? Like, is like the ride gonna be over at some point, and then you have to get off, and you're like, yeah, sorry, you can't do this anymore.
Right.
That doubt, that's like kind of the overwhelming. It's the dark cloud that follows you around everywhere you go.
Right.
It's hard because I think I tend to be more optimistic about things like
That's
this
true.
than you do, and I think one of the biggest things is I trust us. I really do. You know, if something were to happen where we lose everything, we're going to figure it out because I know we're capable of figuring it out. And so then you can just kind of like worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. You know what I'm saying? Just because I feel like, and not only just because I'm like, oh, I don't worry, I'm zen.
No, you're pretty.
It's like,
you've got a good mind space about it.
But I think it's really because I'm able to trust us because I've seen what we can do before, when those things are
in one place or another.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that like I have to build instability in my life in other ways that allows for instability. You know what I mean? In this way. Because I've run into this before where I had no other projects I was working on. I had nothing I could control. And the views equaled my emotional state. It was like one equaled the other. You know what I'm saying? And I just like personally, maybe you just have a stronger constitution than me, but I emotionally can't handle that level of instability. So like I have to build in routines that I know I think occasionally doing work that I know if I work this hard, I'll make this much money. There's no doubt there. There's no question. And then I can deal with a little bit more. Financial stability too is very important to me because like I've had times in my family's life where we just lost everything and I don't want to put ourselves in a position to have that possible. So I think that creating stability in your life to where you can have these unknowns, but you've got other things you rely on, like our relationship and everything that are very, very stable. And so, everything's not up in the air, right? You're not just like being blown around by the winds of whatever happens that day.
Yeah, and I think having each other, right? Being able
key,
to go to somebody, whether it's a friend or family or your partner, to be like,
yes,
hey, I feel doubtful.
Yeah.
Like, don't hold this shit in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So true.
I completely agree, man. Again, you can never be too authentic and vulnerable, especially online. People respect that. Yeah.
I love that. All right. To wrap things up here, what is the best way for people to find you online?
You can find us at Minimal Millennials on YouTube and Instagram.
Awesome.
Yep. Minimal Millennials, baby.
Great.
2 L's and 2 N's.
Thank you guys so much for doing this. This was so much fun.
Yeah, it's fun for us too.
Man. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching this episode with the Minimal Millennials. I was super inspired. Man, I want to start living a van lifestyle now. I feel like maybe for like a week, I'm poking at Nat to say, hey, maybe we should, pack our bags for a couple weeks and do a little cross-country experiment in a van. So that might happen on this channel at some point. If it does, it will likely be because I got some of you guys to contribute on Patreon. So right now I'm climbing towards my goal of 750 Patreon subscribers, which will definitively allow me to do this full time. That will create a salary for me. I have a lot of ambitious ideas if we're able to stretch beyond that, including hiring an editor so then I can make even more videos, investing into travel so I can go to Japan and the Netherlands and everywhere in between to explore simple homes, minimalist spaces, and talk with experts in architecture as well as minimalism. So if you want to contribute, if you want to continue to enjoy this podcast, I would love it if you could contribute a little bit on Patreon. Of course, if you do not have the money right now, then no pressure. I don't want to pressure you if you feel like you are one of the people that are building something from the ground up and you don't have a lot of money to spare. Totally understand. I want you to continue to enjoy this podcast 100% guilt-free. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.